Hello and welcome to a new episode of Pat's Chat, 36th episode. And today, something new. I have for the first time two guests on the show. Welcome Marjorie Poon and Jajun Ko.
Hello.
I hope you
Yes.
guys are doing fine. Thank you very much for joining me today. Quick intro. Marjorie, the co-founder and managing director of DIFY and the deputy CEO and co-founder of Emerge Esports. JJ, I can call you JJ. You told me before, co-founder and CEO of Emerge. Gaming, a professional gaming and esports talent management company. We'll focus on that a little bit later. First of all, I want to know a little bit more about yourself. For Marjorie, we had a quick chat last time already, which was quite interesting. For JJ, very difficult to find information about you, but this is probably because I am on the wrong platform, LinkedIn only. You're the gamer, but please let me know a little bit more about yourself first. What is your background? Where you coming from? You're both Singaporeans, live in Singapore. So please let me know, JJ, a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, I basically used to work sales. So I've been working sales for about 5 years. I work in multiple brands like CDG Capital. I have been playing games since, I don't know, primary school. So I always have a passion for games since young. Yeah.
Okay, so did you know, like, when you grow up, like, that is what you want to do? Like, you just want to game for making your living?
I don't think I wanted to game for a living. I more of wanted to start something. I think that's one of the reasons why we started Emerge.
Okay, interesting. What was your major? What was your topic in school that were your strengths? What did you focus
I
on?
studied marketing.
Sorry, say again.
Marketing.
Oh, marketing. Yeah. So marketing, sales, and then you eventually moved into Emerge.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. For Marjorie, the story is a bit a different one. I saw you have a diploma in integrated facility management, but also you mentioned you never worked in that area. What is the reason for that?
Yeah. So for me, while I have a diploma in integrated facility management, the only work experience that I really had was my internship. Why I didn't really pursue it is because there's quite a bit of numbers which I'm not good at that I had to deal with throughout facility management. While yes, soft skills is part of it all, I just didn't foresee myself being making that a long time career of mine. So I'm more interested in lifestyle career like marketing or even like fashion. So my first full-time job, full-time employment was at a fashion brand.
Yeah, okay. I saw that, like, you had like pharma, health and skincare, fashion as your background. Like, I saw you toggle around the job to really find what is good for you, what you like. But eventually, you did also marketing, and well, you founded or co-founded a marketing agency in DeFi, right? Can you tell me, like, what is the process you were going through, like? Being an employee and then moving into marketing and starting that company?
So before that, when I was at local startups, it was more on an operational kind of scope of work. But eventually, I took an interest in marketing. So I have worked for marketing positions before the start of DeFi. So when I took an interest in that, I also started pursuing my degree in both tourism and events, as well as web communications. That's under Murdoch University. So as I go through my degree and also working at marketing positions, then that's also where me and my co-founder, we decided to start an integrated communications agency because we were very focused on blockchain and fintech back then. We did come from a blockchain company, and we realized that there's a gap in communications between, the public and also how blockchain and fintech brands would want to reach out to them. So that's where we realized that an agency could come in, people like us could actually come in to bridge the gap for them. And that's how our first business, DIFY, started.
Okay, interesting. That was in back in 2018. And if we move forward a little bit to 2020, like the year that no one want to mention, but for you, a success story emerged. Emerged. That's like with Emerge Esports. You found a company, JJ. How did you get involved? I mean, okay, I can understand you're the gamer, but how did you connect with Marjorie and the team to start Emerge?
Me and Roy is the CEO. We actually been friends since very young. So back then, he approached me and he told me about this gap that they had between the amount of potential for advertising inventories for esports personality. Then I felt that it was quite true, and therefore we started Emerge.
Okay, interesting. But you had like a good job as a sales guy, let me call it like that. And then someone, okay, it's a good friend, come to you and said, okay, let's start some new business. What was the mindset that you have at that point? I mean, was that like a no-brainer, easy step for you, or was it something like unsure, especially the time is also unsecure? What was the process you went through by joining Emerge?
I think for me personally, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. Starting out a company is definitely not easy, but with all the co-founders, all their strength, I believe that we definitely can make something of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Yeah, that's interesting to see. Marjorie, you were working with Roy Keck, is his name, right? In DeFi already. Then you moved in, or you started a second startup already at a young age, right? What was I mean, did you ever feel like, okay, we're working on one startup, but then we joining a second one? What was that like a challenge for you, or the idea is like, oh, we might lose focus, or was that an easy decision for you to make?
Yeah, so I think like what JJ has mentioned also is not an easy decision, but what eventually push is also seeing the opportunities that lie in the market. And also I guess our partner Roy is really a very good motivator. Um, so yeah, like he really pushes us and he really sells us the idea. He tells us the vision that he has for the company and the dynamics between like us as well as the rest of the team. We all have our own unique strengths. So while I come from a more like, grounded kind of character, then usually I'm the one who like, snaps back to reality when sometimes we can go too far. Whereas for like JJ, he's the gaming person. He also knows. He has been through it. He understands how the people, the talents that we're bringing, how they would feel. So with all these backgrounds and our own unique characters, we all come together and we feel like there's a difference that we can make from there. And yeah, I guess it's also taking a chance for ourselves also in a year where there's not much of a chance, it seems. Yeah, so I guess we really wanted to make something out for ourselves even when there's nothing.
Wow, that's awesome. I really like the story. And when you say like there's nothing, you're referring back to like this really strange year last year. But obviously it seemed to be a good year to venture into esports. I assume esports had a huge growth. especially in last year, I would say, because of like all these lockdowns. How was it in Singapore? Did you really see like that huge push that came like last year, like any of you?
Uh, Actually, there's several talents that started streaming because of COVID. So I feel that I wouldn't say that the lockdowns
Oh,
it's a help to us lah. Yeah.
So I mean, not on. I mean, okay. So there's two ways you can make money, or probably more than that. But I can imagine what I saw really is like, as it says, just mentioned, like those guys just streaming how they play, right? For me, that was always fascinating because I could not imagine like how someone could just watch that. What is fascinating about it? The other one is, of course, like being paid to game in tournaments, and that also kicked off. We come back to that a little bit later. But what is it about this streaming, this phenomenon that people just record or live stream how they play? Why is that such a big thing nowadays?
I think there's two reasons why people watch streaming. So first of all, the first reason would be there's two types of streamers. One would be the professionals, so whereby they just play and show how good they are. So some of them will watch and learn how they play. And the second one is more about personality. So it can be like you're funny, or it can be let's say you play horror games. So when you play horror games, your reaction tends to make people laugh. So these are different type of entertainment. It's similar to sports, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Good point. So it is entertainment, right? You don't have to be the best player. Well, if you're the best, people want to see it to maybe improve or follow that. If you're not the best player, then probably you have to be just well, entertaining, funny also.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So let's move more into this topic. Also, what you're doing. So I try to figure out all the games that are existing nowadays. I'm really like well, overwhelmed with all the things that are out there. Maybe JJ, what is your favorites, or what are you playing?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite for sure. But I myself, I used to play a lot of PC games. But after starting up Emerge, there isn't much time to play. But I still play games once in a while. Now more towards mobile games because it's more convenient. So I play myself Mobile Legend. It's also a team that we have under Kingsman. Yeah. So that's the only game I play now.
Okay, Marjorie, what is it for you?
I do play several games. To be honest, I can never really catch up with PC games. So when mobile games are available, it's much more. It lessens the level of entry for me. So these days, I do play a variety. I am catching back up on Mobile Legends, and I'm also playing Brawl Stars and also other farming games like Dragonville. So yeah, I cannot focus on one game. So I tend to jump around to try out different things.
Okay, interesting. So I tried, of course, to read a little bit more about Mobile Legends, the short name MLBB, if I'm if I'm correct here. What is the thing that is fascinating about that game? What keeps people playing it, and also what keeps people watching when someone streams it?
I think for me, what's fascinating about the game is, so first of all, I think a lot of people play mobile games. What they want is convenience. So a Mobile Legend game, one game takes about 10 to 15 minutes, whereas let's say the PC version of it's Dota, one game takes about 1 hour. So the difference in time, and then also why people keep playing it is due to the developer constantly updating different content, different characters for them to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Interesting. And I read like just that I get some idea of that, or also the audience here. There is a professional league that just started in Singapore. It's called the MPL, so the MLBB Professional League in Singapore. I read the prize money is up to 100,000 Singapore dollar. That is
Yeah.
like an insane amount. But how does this like really come together? I think that's like where your company merch also come in. Can you explain a little bit how is it so much money around in this esports
I
industry?
think for me personally, for esports wise, it used to be more, I would say, mature in the Western side. For Southeast Asia, I think it's still at its infancy stage, but it's still growing. We can see that there's multiple competition coming in. For example, Mobile Legend, they previously have the Worlds here at M2. They also had a One Esports Dota Major in Singapore as well. So I think all these are making brands, not only esports brands coming in to sponsor, also brands like Tumi, also brands like non-esports brands coming in to sponsor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I think
Yeah, Marjorie,
to
please.
add on, yeah, to add on here, it also goes back to the entertainment value that JJ is talking about. So as more people are being entertained by the esports content, then that's also where it benefits sponsors, it benefits brands to also come in and support the industry and also the teams, the players. So yeah, I guess that's also indicative of why we see like increasing price pools. That's also because to attract, of course, to attract good teams, good players to come in, but of course it's also because there's a much larger support pool for the industry in a whole as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, basically, you're right, JJ. I mean, what surprised me is like there's some Western tournaments where the prize money is in the millions, right? It's crazy. But but what was surprising to me is like we can put it the other way around. I mean, for me, when I hear about gaming, right, I think always like the Asians are more crazy about gaming, right? I mean, you see like the Chinese, the Korean, the Japanese, even when I was there, even 20 years ago, they were all crazy about games and gaming already. But why is it? It seems that in Asia, it's still a little bit behind than to Western countries or in the Western. Why is it only now coming? Where was that gap, or where was like the missing dots in making the prize money is also higher in Asia?
I think for me, I personally feel that back then when, yes, Asia, they tend to play a lot more games, but I think for Asian parents, they are a bit more stricter. So in some sense, they will feel that gaming isn't a career. So I feel that now it's getting more and more modern, whereby you can see there's more and more tractions for esports. Therefore, I feel that more and more parents are more
See it as a
potential career. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
it becomes
also
like an accepted profession, right? It's like nowadays you really can make your living from being a professional player, right?
yes. And I also think that it still goes back to individual and how, brands like us manage the schedules for our players as well. It's also important for, to emphasize that education as well as career can always come hand in hand. So yeah, we do think that yes, while it is a potential career path, there is a certain like education level, especially in Singapore, that we still strive towards and we encourage our players to strive towards. So even though like our players are playing professionally, they are competing, some of them are also still pursuing their studies. So yes, it's
Okay.
achievable in that sense where you build your career, but you also have your education to back you up.
Mhm. Okay, very important point. I had that on my list of questions. Basically, we can dig quickly into that. You already mentioned it a little bit. Now, it especially for young kids, right? It seems very interesting, right? So they see all these guys on YouTube, on whatever platform they're using, these players making really a lot of money, and they tend to just forget, right, that it is not like millions of players around the world, right, that make that much money from it. Also the influencers, let's say, there's only few of them that really make the big money that you can also make a living from it. But okay, besides like letting them know they should finish first their education, right? What is like the support you're offering, or what is your take on this when you talk to young kids that are still in education, when they say like, oh, I want to become a professional player?
I think becoming a professional player, be it professional player or streamer, right, it's never a easy thing. Like, I just want to play game and make it my career. There's a common understanding whereby people think that they just come in and they stream and they can earn money. It's not that easy in some sense, whereby there's a lot of dedication that you have to put in. So like the different type of content that you have to come up with, the consistency, and also how people will receive it. So we will always recommend people, young kids, to focus on their studies first. You still can play games, you still can stream, but that can be a hobby first. Because it doesn't necessarily you have to stream 24 hours a day. You still can study and then stream. Like what Mike mentioned, that out of all competitive player, actually most of them are still schooling. So what we manage is actually we manage their schedule properly, whereby they have their training time, their studying time, so that they can focus on both sides at once.
Okay, interesting. Thanks a lot for this, JJ. I think it's an important message. Let's move more into Emerge, and you mentioned some of the stuff already that you're doing, but maybe can you give like a rough overview, like how that really works? How can you bring like these sponsors together with I don't know how you call it, esports gamers or gamers influencers? Let me know a little bit more. How does your platform or your company really work?
So basically what we do is we manage their advertising inventories. So we manage multiple, we have 4 main focus. So we manage on teams. So we manage teams like Kingsman is one of them, which is our current team. We also actually partner up with Brand Esports, as well as LGD and eHome, and a female team in Singapore called Asterix. We also manage team and leagues as well. So we manage leagues like FSL, it's a female league in Singapore. So what we do is we get sponsor for them using their advertising inventories. So there's a lot of thing whereby people don't understand is, so let's say you do a billboard. What's the ROI you can get out of it? Nobody really knows how many people look at your signboard. So what is the difference between us and the traditional marketing is that we do there's ROI for you guys, whereby there you can see how many people have viewed, how many people click it through it. That's the difference between us and the traditional marketing.
Okay, good. I saw on the list of like the sponsors you're bringing in, some of them really big. Among those, also Red Bull. I saw that. That's probably for Westerns maybe the most famous or interesting one. What is it for Red Bull to move into? Well, I can imagine to move into the Asian market. Still a lot to develop. What is your connection with them in Singapore specifically?
For Red Bull, we do product sponsor. So what we actually have a talent kit for all the talents that actually sign with us. So inside there's a Red Bull package. It's actually the energy pack. So actually, I think Red Bull itself, they themselves have been quite into esports for now. They actually have sponsored multiple teams in Southeast Asia. Yeah.
Okay, good. Very interesting. I have to say, I saw also that was for me quite interesting also. But that goes into more in DeFi also. You have one championship as one of the customer. You did some promotion with them, and interesting. Just recently, you were nominated for a lot of awards, right? PR awards for both companies. I think Emerge won the best use of micro and niche influencers. can you let me know a little bit more why this one is an important one for you? Congratulations, first of all. I think that's a great achievement. How is that important for the company?
Okay, so I think on DeFi end, coming on as the agency who actually manage the PR, the campaign of Emerge Esports launch. That's a PR awards is a known like industry award. So getting something from there amongst like so many submissions and also with big names who are already in the industry for so long, it means a lot to us as a boutique agency in Singapore for DeFi. So yeah, it's definitely a very good recognition to the work that we are doing. For Image and definitely then, there's the recognition that when we launch the brand, people are actually looking at it, people actually identify with our influencers because the influencers that we are using are also the people that we work with. So it's definitely recognition on both ends that the work that we are doing as a communications agency has gone well, and also for an esports brand, our idea works. In the power of our influencers, our talents, it works. So I guess it's a statement to show brands, to show companies, etc., that there's the market for both esports as well as on DeFi, and as an agency, we have the know-how to communicate your brand effectively.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Thanks a lot for that. When we look into potential sponsors, right? What is your ideal recommendation? Who is the ideal company that should reach out to you to sponsor these events, or even players and influencers? What kind of customers or industry are you looking into?
I think there's normally the usual sponsors are more of the esports product, whereby it's like Razer, Logitech. But we're actually looking at more brands that's non-esports, for example, F&B brands. Therefore, we actually did a campaign, which is what Marge mentioned, to let other brands out there to understand more about esports marketing. Yeah. So the brands we're looking at is actually more than esports company.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Great. I will put up the contact details so they can get in contact with you for if they're interested. We talked a lot about the esports also. I saw on your page of the people you represent, but also a lot of influencers like YouTube and IG. How can I call it, stars? How does this develop? I mean, why does it go under esports, or is it just something that you figure out like in the end it's all more or less the same? It's all about this electronic way, and the promotion of like this kind of influencers is still the same.
I think they are almost the same. The only difference is one playing games, one who don't play games. Yeah. So I think honestly, even those big YouTube stars that you've mentioned, most of them, everybody play games. Mostly everybody play games. So I feel that anybody can play games. So I think there isn't a difference between an esports personality and a normal personality.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much for that. What is the next big thing? What is ongoing in Emerge that we should know about?
You can talk about the...
Okay, so for Emerge Esports, we are actually hosting a Kingsman takeover campaign at the moment. So we have actually worked very hard to push this through with brands like Tuk Tuk Cha, Sukiya, Gymbox, and other brands who actually you would see are not all esports brands. So that is a statement to make also that the esports community is huge, and to be honest, the lines where esports community lie is blur these days. Like what JJ has mentioned about the difference between esports personalities versus without the esports esports title, it's actually not that much of a difference. There are talents who, play games like even Animal Crossing. That was a big game in 2020, right? So even that is kind of still part of esports. It's still part of the entire gaming phenomenon that we see. So yeah, we are pushing out this campaign to make that statement, but also at the same time with our Kingsman teams for Valorant, MLBB going through all the competitions, all the tournaments. At the same time, we also want to reward the fans who have been supporting them with all the discounts and promotions that we are launching, and we have worked with the brands to push through. So yeah, it's also a way for us to say thank you to all the fans who have supported us since day one.
Oh, that's cool. Great. Awesome. Really enjoyed that. Let's come back for the final question here a little bit to the entrepreneurship. I think, as I mentioned before, really, really young entrepreneurs. Maybe I start with Marjorie first because you have like the experience of 2 startups already. What is the one thing that when you're thinking back, is like, okay, it's a great journey so far. Something that you would have done differently in the past, where you figured out, now with the experience that you have, we could have done this better right from the start?
To be honest, yes, I have been asked this question a few times, and I have reflected, on my entire journey. But honestly, I don't think there's anything much that I would change or do differently, because every mistake or every success actually shape us to becoming better leaders, and also we learn from every step that we take. And sometimes some of the things that we do, I really think that we could only learn when we go through it. So it's also hard to say, like, at which point we would, want to change anything. But of course, like in terms of as a leader or as a person, like personally, I would want to have let it go more. So really to, just be all out and step out of my comfort zone entirely, because I do felt that I did hold back at times. So yeah, I think if there's only that one thing that I'll change, it would be that kind of mindset. But yeah, otherwise I wouldn't really want to change my journey as an entrepreneur as well.
Awesome. That is really great to hear. JJ, for you, maybe the question, what was the thing that really changed most for you personally, becoming an entrepreneur, being a salesman or like an employee before?
I think for me, my favorite phrase would be from one of my co-founder, Roy, the CEO. So he always say this is it's more than just a job, it's a calling. So I feel that there's a lot of things that I would want to go through. Entrepreneurship is something that I've never been through. So so far, I think it's good. It's awesome. A lot of opportunities, a lot of knowledge, but it's also a thing whereby it trains you yourself a lot as a person in terms of self-motivation and also perseverance. Yeah, so it's not easy, but I enjoy it so far.
That's also great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing this to both of you. I learned a lot about the esports industry today. Again, thank you very much for your time and sharing your experience and your knowledge with us today.
Thank you for having us as well. We had a good time sharing our story.
Sure. Thank you very much. And thanks to the audience for watching and listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And then I see you for a new episode next week on Pat's Chat. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.